In this week's It's the Law, we're talking about divorce. Attorney Jay Davis is here to navigate us through some of the most commonly asked questions. Good evening. Thanks for being here. Nice to see you again.
It's good to see you.
We're going to switch things up and start off with a viewer question tonight. This question is from Alonzo in Fort Valley. He says, what are the laws governing equitable division of real property in Georgia? My wife is seeking a divorce. She claims the house and land are solely hers because my name is not on the deeds. We have been legally married for about 28 years, but have lived as husband and wife in the same residence for over 36 years. What advice do you have for Alonzo here?
Say that's marital property, almost for sure. Equitable division is basically what's fair. So that's what we're allowed to with juries or the judges that are handling a case, to look and see what's fair. Who's been paying for something? It doesn't matter whose name is in it. When two people are married, what they have is considered one. And marital property is whatever is derived from the income of both of those parties.
What about the length of time they're married? Does that make a difference?
It does make
Alonzo's case over 36 years.
36 years, a lot of things matter. Whether or not he owned the property when they went into it, whether or not they paid for it over that period of time, did both of their incomes go into it? Even if he owned it at the beginning, straight out, outright, they've probably done upgrades. They've probably used their marital funds in order to pay for taxes and insurance and fixing the floors, the doors, and everything else. And over that long of a period of time, it's going to be marital property almost for sure, at least some portion of it. But it's going to be presented to a jury, and the jury is going to determine what's fair. And they can argue, each person can argue what they think is fair.
All right, when do you think a couple should try to do uncontested divorce? Anytime
you don't have a lot of stuff to argue about. Okay. If you've got, if you've recently done a bankruptcy, which is happening a lot these days, if all of your funds are depleted, a lot of times financial stress is what leads to divorce. And if that's the case, you don't want to spend both parties spending thousands of dollars on attorneys fighting back and forth for less than what the pot's going to, wind up being zero after all the attorney fees. Not that we don't want to make money, but
sure. Now we hear about alimony a lot. So how does that work? How do you divvy it up?
Alimony is going to depend on, it's also going to be a fairness issue. If one person has worked, if one person has a greater income, and the other person, if one person's making $100,000 a year and one person making 30, if they came in on equal footing, they both of them had their careers established, then maybe that's what they need to walk away with. But if one person stayed home, took care of kids for a few years while the other one developed his or her professional experience and is able to walk away, then maybe that person needs to give back to allow the other person to kind of catch up.
Do you think a prenup would maybe make that process a little bit smoother, or can that be messy as well?
A prenup, both. Mm-hmm. It could make it easier if you want to set things out at the beginning. If one person is in a professional position and the other person is in less economic friendly position, they might want to protect themselves, the one with money.
Sure.
So, and over time you would just decide how you want to do that. But without a prenup, it's going to go to the general laws, and you're going to just decide what's fair.
All right, a loaded question, but we don't have that much time for. What should people know in regards to child support and custody?
Child support is now done by a mathematical formula. You add in each party's economic availability at that time, basically their income.
So it's standard then?
And it's standard. You run through the numbers, and there's not going to be a large discrepancy.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all the time we have. We appreciate you coming in and answering our questions.
Good
and if you have a legal question you would like answered, be sure to send us an email to itsthelaw@41nbc.com, or you can post your questions on my Facebook page. That's facebook.com/Corrine41NBC. We want to hear from you.